Keeping games in their sealed boxes might seem counterproductive. You spend money to play the bloody things after all. But for some, the self-control and sacrifice has made them a very pretty penny, with unopened, sealed video games selling for massive money. Here are the top 10 most expensive video games ever sold. Number 10. Contra. Contra was sold for $150,000 on Heritage Auctions website. The extreme rarity of this game is what makes it cost so much. Heritage Auctions had never gotten a copy of Contra that was as rare as this game. It had a WATA score of 9.8 and a seal rating of A+. There had only been one other copy that was just as close to it in rating, in what was called the Carolina Collection. That version of Contra was rated 9.6 on the WATA scale with a sealed rating of A++. The fact that this was a one-of-a-kind piece with almost pristine box art shot its price to the sky. Number 9. Twisted Metal. Heritage Auctions also sold Twisted Metal for $156,000. Twisted Metal is at a WATA 9.6 and an A+ sealed score. This variant is extremely rare as it comes in its ridged long box form, which was the first casing style for PlayStation 1 games. It's also an early production copy that was created in 1995. Number 8. Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Bros. 3 also sold for a total of $156,000 on the Heritage Auctions website. The copy has a WATA score of 9.2 with a sealed score of A+. The left-hand side of the cartridge reveals why this variant of the game is so expensive. The Bros text on the box on this cartridge is on the left, overlapping Mario's hand. Most copies contain that word between Mario's hat and the Rio in the Mario text. Number 7. Final Fantasy. Heritage Auctions also sold a copy of Final Fantasy for $204,000. This is one of the best copies of Final Fantasy to exist. It has a WATA score of 9.8 and an A++ sealed rating. The Heritage Auctions institution even argues that they're unsure how this game is not too different from a 10. There are no other copies that have been sold with a higher WATA score. There are also no other copies of Final Fantasy for auction with this score, so this might be the very last copy that's in this good a condition. Number 6. Resident Evil. Resident Evil went for a whopping $264,000. This is with a WATA score of 9.6 and an A+ sealed rating in a ridged long box. Resident Evil is known as the most expensive PlayStation game to have ever been sold in an auction. This is one of the first production printings of the game, and there are known to be less than 10 sealed copies in the entire world, let alone of this condition. Number 5. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Was sold on the Heritage Auctions website for a staggering $312,000. The wild thing about this game is that, in the same year, another copy of the game was also sold at auction with an almost identical rating. So far, there have not been any other Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Copies that have sold for so much at auction. This is a rare piece of history that looks undeniably well preserved, even to the untrained eye. Number 4. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog sold for $420,000 on the Golden Auctions website. This copy of Sonic the Hedgehog is a lot lower on the WATA scale than many other games on this list. It has a WATA score of 9.4 with an A sealed rating. Nevertheless, it's hard enough to find an original Sonic the Hedgehog game, so getting this score is a big deal in this case. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda. A copy of The Legend of Zelda was sold on Heritage Auction website for $870,000. The WATA score might fool many people as it comes in with a 9.0 A seal. However, this is still extremely rare as the game came out in 1987. Additionally, this specific variant only came out for 2 months in that year before a new production copy was released. Number 2. Super Mario 64. According to the Heritage Auctions website, Super Mario 64 sold for $1.56 million at auction. This copy doesn't look 25 years old, so it's been wonderfully taken care of. The game comes in hot with a WATA score of 9.8 and a sealed score of A++. This is the highest grade of this copy known to exist. Number 1. Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Sold for an incredible $2 million on the Rally website. This is the most expensive game ever sold thus far. This particular copy was a very rare variant, with a WATA rating of 9.8 and an A+ sealed score. The fact that this was one of the first copies of the game that created the side-scrolling platforming genre adds to its value. It's got a lot of history. We all hope that the anonymous person who bought this game will cherish and look after this very important piece of pristine gaming culture. And that is the end of this video. Thanks as always for watching, and if you haven't done so already, go on down below, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and give the bell icon a ding so that you get notified whenever we've got new stuff for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.